Welcome back to the frequency that never sleeps. You are locked in, tuned in, and turned all the way up to the Real Review, right here on Dame Good Radio. I am your host, your guide through the celluloid jungle, the man with the golden ears and the silver tongue, Warbucks. Tonight we are not just scratching the surface. We are drilling through the ice. We are descending into the dark, cold basements of the psyche. We are talking about a film that has been vibrating on the airwaves, causing static in the ether, and keeping the lights on in households across the city. We are diving headfirst, no parachute, into the Blumhouse Powerhouse event of 2025, The Black Phone 2. Let that ring. Let it sit in the air for a second. That is the sound of dread, my friends. That is the sound of the other side calling collect. Now, before we unzip the body bag on this feature, we have to pay our respects to the architects. This is a Blumhouse production, and if you know anything about the modern horror landscape, you know that name carries weight like a tombstone. But more importantly, we have the return of the maestro, Scott Derrickson. He co-wrote and directed the original Black Phone, and he's back in the captain's chair for the sequel. Let's look at the pedigree here. Derrickson isn't just a director. He's a surgeon of the supernatural. He gave us The Exorcism of Emily Rose back in 2005, a courtroom drama wrapped in a demonic nightmare. He gave us Sinister in 2012, which, let's be honest, had some of the most disturbing found footage sequences in cinema history. And then he took a left turn into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the first Doctor Strange. Now I know what you're thinking. Warbucks, that's superheroes, not horror. But listen closely. Doctor Strange stood out in his discography as an unexpected piece of cinema. Yet if you peel back the cape, the elements of horror, the bending of reality, the darker edges of the astral plane, it was all there. I feel like between the sorcery of Doctor Strange and the gritty, grounded terror of the Black Phone movies, Derrickson has carved out a niche that is uniquely his own. He blends the fantastical with the terrifying in a way that feels tactile. So, set your dials. We are going long tonight. We are dissecting the plot, the performances, the hidden messages, and the frozen terror of The Black Phone 2. To understand the sequel, we have to briefly exhume the original. You cannot walk into this theater cold. You need the context, or you'll be lost in the static. The first Black Phone introduced us to Finney Blake, played by Mason Thames, a kid abducted by the Grabber, a role that Ethan Hawke absolutely devoured. Finney wakes up in a soundproof basement. There's a black, rotary phone on the wall. The wires are cut. It's dead. But it rings. And when Finney answers, he hears the voices of the children the Grabber has already murdered. Through their guidance and the ghost of his friend Robin, Finney manages to turn the tables. He kills the Grabber. He snaps his neck. It's definitive. So the question on everyone's lips coming into 2025 was, Warbucks, if the bad guy is dead, how do we have a movie? Well, my friends, we are dealing with the supernatural. We are dealing with a world where dead kids make phone calls. A sequel isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Because evil doesn't just clock out when its heart stops beating. The Black Phone 2 opens not with a bang, but with a chill. We are transported to 1957, the Rocky Mountains, Colorado, a panoramic shot of iced-out mountains that is so beautiful it hurts. We see a little girl in a phone booth, in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by snow. She's sliding that rotary dial, one number at a time. Click, whir, click, whir. She answers the phone and says her name, then asks, "Who is this?" immediately after. It's jarring. It's strange. Why call someone and then ask who they are? She mentions the number was carved in ice, then static. She hangs up and walks back towards some cabins. The isolation is palpable. Derrickson is telling us right away, you are alone out here. Fast forward. North Denver, 1982, the era of neon and new wave. We see a circle of kids screaming, "Fight, fight!" Gwen, Finney's psychic little sister, played by the incredible Madeleine McGraw, rushes up. She's worried, but she shouldn't be worried for Finn. She should be worried for the other guy. Finn is on top of this kid, dismantling him, punch after punch. It takes Gwen yelling to snap him out of it. He's in a trance of violence. He hits the kid 2 more times for good measure, a stay-down tax, and challenges the crowd. Anybody else? As they walk away, Finn explains. This new kid challenged him because he heard Finn killed a serial killer. Finn's reputation has become a prison. He has to fight to prove he isn't a victim anymore. It's a tragic reality of the schoolyard. It's like prison rules. You have to show you aren't a punk just to survive. Gwen, being the voice of reason, points out that he's not looking like a protector. Then, a car pulls up. Enter Ernesto. Now keep your ears open, because this is important. Ernesto is played by Miguel Mora, the same actor who played Robin, Finn's best friend and protector, in the first movie. Gwen says, "Don't you think Robin would want you looking out for his little brother?" It's a genius casting choice. Finn says he doesn't like Ernesto, which is ironic and heartbreaking because he loved Robin. Gwen and Ernesto have a moment. He's taking her to get Duran Duran tickets. Finn calls it a date. Gwen denies it, then leans into it. The chemistry is innocent, a stark contrast to the blood on Finn's knuckles. We see Finn at home. His PTSD is a living thing. He's hiding cigarettes from his dad, played by Jeremy Davies, who is trying to stay sober. Finn has a flashback, reliving the basement. Then, the movie shifts gears into the nightmare realm. We get a flashback sequence, distorted like an old, damaged Polaroid. Kids at a camp, sleds, snow, then darkness. A boy running in the woods. He falls. He's stabbed. We see him trapped behind ice, carving the letter W. The music here, dark, creepy. It crawls under your skin. Gwen wakes up terrified. A phone rings in her house. She goes to it, but instead of answering, she looks out the window. She sees lights and smoke at the neighbor's barn, the house that looks just like theirs. Finn wakes her up. She's freezing cold, sleepwalking. The next day at school, the isolation continues. Girls laugh at Gwen. She's the freak. Ernesto is the only bright spot. He gives her tarot cards. He knows about her dreams, about how she helped find Robin's body. He says, "Maybe I like weird." Finn passes a payphone. It rings. He picks it up. "I'm sorry, I can't help you." He walks away. The sign says, "Out of order." The supernatural telecommunications network is back online, folks. Another dream, another kid. This time, chopped up with an axe. The face under the ice adds a B next to the W. WB. Gwen wakes up sleepwalking again, biking to the old house where Finn was held captive. The phone inside rings. She answers. It's the girl from the 1957 opening. The timelines are crossing. They connect over the dreams of boys under ice. But just as they connect, static. Jump scare alert. Gwen turns around and sees the grabber's brother, the one killed in the first movie, blood pouring from his head. He warns her. Gwen is convinced she isn't crazy. She reveals she was talking to their mom on the phone in the dream. Her mom called from a youth camp. Gwen finds a brochure for the place. It's real. She hatches a plan. Finn will pretend to be a counselor in training to get them in. Their dad reveals their mother actually worked there long ago. So the trio, Gwen, Finn, and Ernesto, head into the Rockies. The dad stays behind, promising to keep his sobriety intact. Don't get drunk, Finn warns him. I'm done with all that, the dad promises. They arrive at Camp Alpine Lake during a blizzard. It's desolate. They meet Mando, played by the legendary Demian Bashir, and his niece Mustang, played by Ariana Rivas. The camp is closed due to weather. They are the only ones there aside from two other staff members, Kenneth and Barbara. The horror ramps up immediately. Finn sees a payphone in the snow. It rings. He ignores it. It rings again. He answers, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." But it rings insanely the next time. He answers, "Who is this?" Gwen is sleepwalking again. She looks under her bed. Jump scare. Dead, bloody kid. Finn is in the phone booth. A voice comes on the line. Not a kid. It's him, the grabber. Ethan Hawke's voice, raspy and terrifying. "Hello?" Finn is trapped in the booth. Gwen is trapped in the cabin with burnt ghosts and bloody ghosts. A kid with half a face sliced off slides a window up. The grabber, or his spirit, slams the window down on the kid's neck. Visceral, bloody, the head rolls into the cabin. Gwen screams. Finn breaks out of the booth. This leads to a breakfast scene that cuts the tension with a knife. Mando confronts them. "Why are you really here?" They admit their connection to Starlight, their mother. Mando remembers her. He reveals he's been looking for the missing bodies of boys killed near the camp for years. Then, Finn goes back to the payphone. The dead boys speak. "Find us. We're not supposed to be here." They chant, "Find us. Find us." The revelation comes out in a heated argument with the religious staff member, Barbara, who quotes Philippians but acts with judgment. Gwen fires back with attitude. "I love this girl's fire." Night falls. The dreams intensify. WBH is carved in the ice. Wild Bill Hickok. This leads to the centerpiece sequence of the film, the kitchen attack. Gwen is sleepwalking into the mess hall. Finn is in the phone booth, taunted by the grabber's spirit. The grabber tells Finn, "You made me kill my own brother." In the kitchen, invisible to the others, but visible to Gwen and us, the grabber attacks. He has an axe. He swings. Gwen blocks. He drags her. He throws his axe, catches it, showboating even in the afterlife, and slashes her face. The other characters, Ernesto, Mustang, Mando, burst in. They see Gwen being thrown around like a rag doll by an invisible force. She's thrown into ovens, slammed against walls. I have to pause here. This scene bothered me slightly. The bystanders just watched for too long, frozen in shock. I get it. It's terrifying, but help the girl. Finally, Ernesto steps up. He grabs her legs. The poltergeist activity goes nuts, frying pans flying everywhere. They drag her out. The aftermath reveals the truth. Mando shows them a picture from 1957. A young maintenance man with a tool belt worn low like a gunslinger. Long, wavy hair. Wild Bill. Finn recognizes him. That's him. That's the grabber. Wild Bill started here. These were his first kills. The camp is ground zero. Mando creates a plan. They need to find the bodies in Lake Meru to break the grabber's power. They head to the ice. We get a deep philosophical moment between Mando and Finn. Mando takes Finn's cigarettes. He tells him, "Behind that anger is fear. You're afraid you can't protect your sister." He tells Finn he has to face his feelings, not numb them. It's a powerful message for men everywhere. Let it out. The climax. They are on the frozen lake. Gwen forces herself into a dream to lure the grabber. She enters a trance. She sees the origin. The grabber taking her mom's first dream vision, the paperboy. She realizes the grabber killed her mother. It wasn't suicide. He staged it. In the dream world, which looks like a frozen hellscape, Gwen is trapped in a phone booth on the ice. The grabber is ice skating. Yes, ice skating with an axe, like a demented hockey player. He attacks the ice in the real world, causing Mando to fall through. Gwen decides she's done running. She realizes that in a dream, she has power too. She bursts out of the booth. She headbutts the grabber. "See you later, Wild Bill." In the real world, the grabber's spirit manifests as a mist, slashing the staff members, Kenneth and Barbara. It's a massacre. He chokes Finn, but the bodies are found. The spirits of the boys are released. Gwen recites scripture. "O grave, where is thy victory?" She summons the spirits of the dead boys. They rise from the ice. They grab the grabber. They hold him down. Finn smashes his face into the ice. Hell isn't flames, Bill. It's ice. They cast him into the freezing depths. He is gone. The film ends with a call from Mom on the spiritual phone. She tells Gwen it wasn't a curse, it was a gift. They drive home, battered but free. Now, let's strip away the jump scares and the gore, and look at the soul of this machine. I love this movie. It is, without a doubt, one of the most underrated films of 2025. Why? Because it's not about a killer in a mask. It's about trauma and legacy. Look at the family dynamic. The mom passed down this psychic ability. To the outside world, it looked like mental illness. It drove her to a tragic end, or so we thought. Gwen and Finn inherited this. Gwen gets the dreams, Finn gets the resilience. But they also inherited the trauma of their father's abuse and the loss of their mother. The film brilliantly connects the grabber to the origin of their family's pain. By revealing the grabber killed the mom, the writers tied the entire knot together. The dad's drinking, the abuse, Finn's anger, it all stems from that one act of evil by Wild Bill. This movie made the first movie more important. It turned a standalone horror flick into a generational saga. Let's talk about the ghosts. In most movies, ghosts are just scary set dressing. Here, they are messengers. They are unfinished business. The dialogue, stuttered, imperfect, emotional, felt real. These aren't eloquent Shakespearean spirits. They are confused, scared kids. The character development is profound. Finn, he starts the movie fighting to hide his fear. He ends it by admitting his fear, crying, letting the dam break. I don't want to be angry anymore. That line, that is the thesis of the film. Toxic masculinity tells boys to bury it. This film tells them to scream it out so they can heal. Gwen, she goes from fearing her curse to weaponizing it. She learns that her mind is her domain. I brought myself here, and I can leave when I want. That is empowerment. The dad, he has to face the hardest truth of all, that his wife didn't abandon them. He has to forgive himself. And we have to talk about the genius chess move. Casting Miguel Mora as Ernesto, the little brother of Robin, his character from the first film, it's brilliant. It creates an instant, subconscious emotional bond for the audience and for Finn. It's like killing two birds with one stone. And yes, I know, strange old school analogy, why are we killing birds? But it works. It represents the cycle of life and the endurance of friendship beyond the grave. Some critics are saying the dream sequences felt too much like a Nightmare on Elm Street. To that I say, so what? Freddy Krueger was the master of the dream realm, but he don't own the deed to the property. The Black Phone 2 pays homage to that classic trope, but grounds it in mediumship and grief, not just slasher theatrics. It felt fresh. It felt like a natural evolution of the universe Scott Derrickson built. You know how we do it. We don't just watch the movie, we inspect the frames. Here are the secrets you might have missed while you were hiding behind your popcorn bucket. 1. The timeline symmetry. The movie opens in 1957, the grabber's first kills, and jumps to 1982. That's a 25-year gap. In numerology, the number 7 often represents spiritual awakening and introspection, themes heavy in this film. 2. The color grading. Did you notice the shift? The flashback scenes with the dead kids look distorted, like a Polaroid left in the sun too long. The edges are blurred, the colors are washed out. But when Gwen enters the dream fully lucid at the end, the image becomes razor sharp. It visualizes her gaining control over her power. 3. The sound design of the ring. The phone ring in the camp isn't a standard stock sound. It has a metallic, hollow echo to it, different from the basement phone in the first movie. It implies the open space of the mountains versus the enclosed space of the basement. 4. Costume evolution. Wild Bill's tool belt. Mando explicitly mentions he wore it loose like a gunslinger. Later, when the grabber manifests in the dream, he's wearing that belt. It's a visual tether connecting the human killer to the supernatural entity. 5. The WBH carving, Wild Bill Hickok, a famous figure of the Wild West who was shot from behind while playing cards. The grabber attacks from behind. He hides. He uses ambush tactics. He sees himself as an outlaw legend, not a child killer. 6. The snowman. When Mando sees the snowman's head explode with blood on the window, that's a foreshadowing of the head-slicing scene later in the cabin. The movie warns you exactly what is going to happen. We have reached the end of the road. The snow is clearing, the bodies are found, and the credits are rolling. It is time for the popcorn bucket score. The Black Phone 2 takes a risk. It takes a grounded thriller and turns it into a metaphysical fantasy horror epic. It deals with heavy themes of suicide, abuse, and PTSD without feeling preachy. It gives us Ethan Hawke in a performance that is somehow more terrifying than the first, even though he's barely physically present. The script is tight. The editing is surgical. The acting from the young cast, Madeleine McGraw and Mason Thames, is Oscar-worthy. They carry this film on their backs, for creating a sequel that justifies its existence, for expanding the lore without breaking it, and for delivering an emotional payload that hits harder than a sledgehammer to the ice. I am giving The Black Phone 2 a perfect 5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. It stands tall alongside Aliens and Terminator 2 as one of the rare sequels that might just equal, or dare I say, surpass the original in scope and heart. That's all the time we have for this session of The Real Review. I hope you kept the lights on for this one. Remember, folks, movies are like dreams. Sometimes they're beautiful, sometimes they're nightmares, but they always tell us something about ourselves if we're brave enough to listen. If you're out there in the snow, check the phone lines. And if it rings, maybe, just maybe, don't answer it. This is Warbucks, signing off from Dame Good Radio. Keep your frequency locked and your spirits high.